Hey guys, this is Nick with Blue Music and Movies, where we, or I, review music and movies. Although I've only done music so far, but that will change at some point. Now, today I am reviewing the 2019 release Erotic Reruns by Yeasayer. At least I think that's how you say it. Yeasayer? Yeasayer? I don't know. It's very confusing. In fact, when I talked with my friend about this album earlier, they thought that I was making a typo several times in a row, and that I was just trying to type Slater somehow. I guess because I am the one that introduced Slater to him, so. At any rate, now, before I jump into the album, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what I've been listening to recently, so you can see my influences and stuff like that. Here we are. Okay. I've actually been listening to a lot of stuff like Baroque pop, the Phil Spector influence type of stuff, like Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, a lot of 60s and 70s stuff. I've also been listening to Baroque folk, a lot of folk actually, a lot of different folk, as well as some, progressive rock, psychedelic pop, psychedelic rock, really a mishmash of stuff. My most played artist in the last 7 days is Nick Drake. And that's a bit pared down, but his first two albums are definitely more Baroque pop type stuff. And we also have John Cale, just an amazing Baroque pop artist. Grizzly Bear, Fleet Foxes, Joni Mitchell, Scott Walker. Just giving you a little insight into what I've been listening to. My top played albums are Crack Up by Fleet Foxes, Blue by Joni Mitchell, Fixin' to Die by Jackson C. Frank. And that one's only in the most, I think, because it has so many tracks. I wasn't really a big fan. I really liked his album, the one that he actually put out, but I wasn't such a big fan of this one. Melina and Johnson by Melina and Johnson, Getaway by The Clean, and Don't Wake Me Up by The Microphones. So that's a lot of the stuff that I have been listening to lately. But today I am doing the new Yeasayer album, and I actually really like Yeasayer. I found them several years ago with their first album, the sort of psychedelic indie pop album All Our Symbols. That was released in 2007. And then in 2010, they released their most popular album, Odd Blood. And I think that is how most people were introduced to them. That's certainly one of my favorite albums by them. It's a really cool mishmash of indie-tronica and psychedelic pop. In 2012, they released Fragrant World, which was sort of a departure, and then in 2016, they released Amen and Goodbye. Not a fan. But in 2019, they released Erotic Reruns. Erotic Reruns is actually their lowest rated album on rateyourmusic.com, the website I listen to. Hey, go ahead and sponsor me, Rate Your Music. I really appreciate it, because I'm going to talk about you guys a lot because I use you guys so much. But Erotic Reruns is their lowest rated album on rateyourmusic.com, and I really don't think that's fair, because I think that their last album was their worst. I don't think it was very good. I actually like this one a lot more. I've listened to it once, but I'm going to go ahead and listen to it again with you guys so that I can get a fresh opinion, take some notes, and get into it. The cover is really interesting, to say the least. It's got some crates with like this orange, what is that? This like orange netting or yarn sticking out. Actually, it kind of looks like a wig. My friend said earlier that it looks like Bjork's wig on the Biophilia cover. So it kind of looks like someone threw this nasty wig away because they didn't want it. Really hope that's not a reflection of the music. Hopefully not. I did a little bit of research here, just a slight amount. And what I found out is that this is their fifth album. It was released on June 7th, 2019, but it was actually being recorded from 2016 all the way to 2019. And that is a pretty long time to be recording one album. I don't know if that was intermittently or if they were continuously working on it, but that's kind of a long time. Yeasayer, who produced this album themselves, are quoted as saying, "We were jokingly calling this our classic rock record at one point, referencing the Turtles or the Stones or Fleetwood Mac." On their Bandcamp, it says, "This is Yeasayer distilling all their strengths while pairing them to their essence. Intros are shortened, hooks are immediate, and its songs are concise, all the fat trimmed." So, Erotic Reruns was recorded in New York, like I said, self-produced by the band, and also recorded in their own homes. Despite the fact that this album's theme is a reaction to Trump and the political mess going on in America right now, it's supposedly their most simple so far. And a band member is quoted as saying, "We were following the Tom Petty credo of don't bore us, get to the chorus." Kind of like that. That's cute. The songs on the album are apparently about the Russia investigation, the state spying on its private citizens, and the loss of privacy. This album was recorded, produced, and released all by Yeasayer themselves, distributed on the band's own label. So that's actually really cool. I think that this album sounds really good, really interesting, and if you're into Yeasayer at all, you should certainly give it a listen, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and listen to this album, and then I will get back to you with my thoughts and opinions. See you soon! Hey guys, so I'm back. I had a little kratom, listened to the music, had a little fun. I even danced around a little, so that's a spoiler. I did enjoy the album. I like to take kratom when I listen to music. Just puts me in a good mood. I take kratom every day. Kratom is the only thing that has kept me from relapsing and using drugs. But enough with the personal information, enough with the TMI. Just gonna jump right in and tell you how I felt about Erotic Reruns. Now, right from the beginning, I could tell that this album eschews the psychedelia of the other albums, because it's concise R&B influenced indie pop with just a little bit of guitar. It's very immediate and sugary, and I really like it. So, that first song was called People I Loved. Really cool song. I enjoyed it. I think it's a great intro to the album. Thought it was nice. The first words that come to mind when I listen to the second track is Ecstatic Baby, or zany 80s. That's a fun description, right? It felt very 80s. The R&B influences are very apparent, and I feel like that might have been a bid to get more mainstream appreciation. Who knows? I'm actually not as big of a fan of this song though, but I did like the lead singer's newfound emotive vocals. The third song, Crack a Smile, starts with a thumping bass and crackly guitar before the more polished production slides in with double tracking and computers. I enjoy the melody of the chorus. I really feel like any psychedelia on this album is relegated to little quirky flourishes within the production. All of these songs feel really upbeat and dancey, but still indie and slightly rock-oriented despite the R&B. But I really feel like that's what makes them so catchy. The fourth song is called Blue Skies Dandelion, and I feel like it was a bit different. It's slower than the others, but one thing I like about this album is the production. So it's really cool that the band did it themselves. You can sit and listen and focus on the little odds and ends of the production. There are a lot of cool noises layered on top of each other with the keyboard, altered virtual synths, and the clean guitar and bass on top of what is probably a drum machine. Let Me Listen In On You feels very psychedelic and hazy with a Floydian drawl of a guitar, but obviously nowhere near as experimental. It's very pretty and anthemic despite the medium tempo, but, I'm honestly not a huge fan. Track 6 is called I Will Kiss You. Well, it's not called I Will Kiss You Tonight, it's called I'll Kiss You Tonight. It's a pared down indie pop track with a cool melody, but I feel like the piano and production actually fight against the melody and make the song sound weird and exhausting. I just don't like this song. I definitely hear the 60s pop influence that they were talking about here though, and it's a shame that the song isn't better, because that would be really, really cool. They were reminding me a little bit of of Montreal and that mood of neo psychedelia, but their earlier albums were a lot more psychedelic. This one is not, just not. The next song, 24-Hour Hateful Live. Say that 5 times fast. 24-Hour Hateful Live. Well, it starts off sounding very psychedelic, and I'm assuming it's not actually live, but that's part of the title. It doesn't sound like it was recorded live still. I believe there are horns in this song, and it's actually really cool against the dark melody of the verses and the chorus and the soaring vocals. This is an odd song because it's bombastic but slightly dark. I actually really like it. Once again, I want to mention the obvious R&B influences on both the melody of the vocal parts and the manner in which the vocalist sings. I love the dirty guitar and bass intro of the next song, Alm Death. This one is R&B as fuck as far as the vocals. It's really pretty crazy, and I am sorry for mentioning R&B quite so much, but I wasn't exactly a huge fan of the chorus though. The production is once again really cool with all the spacey effects, but Wasn't a huge fan. Now, the last track, Fluttering in the Floodlights, is a very dancey song with a deep thumping bass and a flitting synthesizer sequence. I guess maybe they were trying to end the album on an upbeat note. I don't know. The melody is very upbeat in contrast with the darker verses. Actually, the dance influence on this track is crazy compared to the other tracks. Although I have mentioned dance before, nothing is as dance oriented as this one. So that's it. That was my quick little summary of all the different tracks on the album. So what did I think about this album? I loved it. I really liked it. I would rate this album a 7 out of 10, especially in comparison to their other albums. I think that with this album, Yeasayer reminds me of Radiohead, with the level of detail paid to the production and all the different sounds that you can focus on. It's a low-key indie rock album with an R&B influence and a really cool Baroque production that layers keyboards with traditional indie instrumentation and a more psychedelic aspect with the computer-generated sounds. This would be nice to lay in bed and listen to with your eyes closed. The songs themselves are mainly good, although they can get a bit samey. I particularly enjoy the R&B inflection of the vocals and the danceability of the tracks, while still maintaining an obvious indie ethos. And I really think that this was a step up from their last album. I did not like All Our Symbols, but I really like this one. I don't know, it just feels really different. I'm really glad that they are experimenting with things and not just sticking to the same old, same old. They've always been like basically an indie pop band, but with a psychedelic edge. And this one feels a lot more concise, less meandering, more danceability, more pop, more just fun all around. And I really like R&B, especially the type like, Michael Jackson, that type of high energy R&B. And I feel like this sort of goes for that. And it's really cool to hear that on top of this indie. And just the production was absolutely amazing. I truly loved the production. I thought it was great. It was really fun. Am I gonna listen to this album again? Hell fucking yeah, I'm gonna listen to it again. So that's what I have to say about this album. That's really this was a short episode, but hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. Next time maybe I'll have a longer episode, but I feel like it's fun to have some short episodes so you can just listen to them real quick before or after you listen to the album. Just kind of a fun thing. So that's really it. If you guys want to keep listening, then do so, subscribe, whatever. Definitely, I do a lot of reviews, like real short written reviews on Instagram, so you can follow me there. It's Google Solutions on Instagram. And just have fun, listen to music. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.